Most people think that change starts with doing something. I don't think it does. I think it starts with something a little bit simpler than that, and that's self-awareness. I'm Tony. On this channel, we talk about reinvention after 50, mindset shifts, small changes, and really navigating the second half of life. And I do that through talking about my own experiences with my own reinvention. I think we all kind of have an idea of what self-awareness means, but what does self-awareness mean in the context of reinvention? Well, really, it just is it's about noticing. It's about noticing patterns in your life, things that you do over and over. It's things, that you consistently do on a regular basis. Self-awareness is also about noticing your reactions. How do you react in certain situations? Do you consistently react the same way each and every time? It's about noticing your habits. What is habitual to you? What do you do habitually over and over and over again without even thinking of it? And I think one of the most important aspects of self-awareness is noticing your own inner dialogue. It's like, how do you talk to yourself? What things do you say to yourself? I know for me, when I started to feel, that my life just is not working out for me the way that I had thought it was going to be, I would say some pretty bad things to myself about myself. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Bad husband, bad father, those things. And those things have meaning, but, it's really important to notice what are the things that you do say about yourself. And it's not a matter of judging what you say, what you don't say. The self-awareness, really, it just starts with noticing and observing. So when I was in my mid-50s, I realized that I was living my life I was on autopilot. I'd wake up in the morning, do the same routine, think the same thoughts, eat the same kind of crappy food, have the same reactions, have the same relationships, and I'll just give you a quick example, very briefly. I drive for one of the delivery services for a living. So I'm out on the road several hours every day. And I wouldn't necessarily call it road rage, but I had a severe case of road irritation, if you will. Anybody that was driving slower than me was an idiot. Anyone that was driving faster than me was crazy because, I just drove the perfect speed limit all day, every day. And I'd get really, really irritated with people, and some, yelling, cussing, certain signals you give to each other when you get irritated. And I felt lousy every single day. And this level of stress just made an already stressful job all the more stressful. And I really started to pay attention to that. So I started to work on that. I tried to do some deep breathing before I even left for the route in the morning and told myself, it's okay. You're going to run into traffic. You're going to run into people who might cut you off. It's not personal. And if somebody cuts me off and that's the worst thing that happens to me in a day, well, then I've had a pretty good day, and I've had a better day than a lot of people out there. So I had to try to start to internalize that. It was not easy. I will tell you that. And it's, sometimes still it's a struggle. But now that I'm aware of that, I know what's going to trigger me, and I can sort of cut that off in advance. So why does self-awareness even come first anyways? Well, you can't change what you can't see. Trying to change something without some level of self-awareness, it's just like guessing. It's like trying to find a needle in in a haystack. And awareness really gives you options in your life. It's like, okay, once you become self-aware that there's something in your life that just doesn't feel right or it feels off, well, now that I know that, I have options. You can change. You can try to do the things that will help alleviate that, or you can decide not to change. You're just going to stay the way that you are. That's an option, right? You are in control. You know, but one of the most important aspects, I think, of self-awareness also is realizing what self-awareness is not. Self-awareness is not judging yourself. It's not beating yourself up. You're just simply trying to notice the patterns, the habits, the thoughts, the reactions in your life. You know, you're not labeling yourself or over-identifying yourself with things that you notice. You know, you don't want to say to yourself that you're unfixable, that I'm just going to be this way for the rest of my life. You're just simply noticing and observing these things on a regular basis. So for me, like, the easy place to start was I started to write things down. And I'm not saying that you have to journal. I journal every day. I have for a while. And it helps me. I know some people, you know, don't like to journal, and that's fine. Just get yourself like a slice of paper and start to write these things down. It's an easy exercise to start. You're not trying to change anything right out of the gate. You're just noticing. You're just observing yourself and making note of it. It could be simple as asking yourself, you know, what did I avoid today? What did I avoid doing for myself? Or what was I afraid to do today? What triggered me today? Like for me, it was the traffic. You know, that was a significant trigger for me. Where did I feel uncomfortable today? And maybe why did I feel uncomfortable? You know, what did I do automatically on autopilot? Things that we do that are out of our conscious awareness because we've been doing these things for so long. It's just noticing and observing, and that's all it is. So the self-awareness, again, like I said, leads to a choice. The choice can lead to a small change. You can change or not. That's within your control. And the small change leads eventually to momentum, and you start to build from those things, one after another after another. You know, reinvention really, in my opinion, in my experience, the reinvention grows from the awareness of ourselves. So you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need massive change out of the gate. As I said in a previous video, you don't need to blow up your life. You just need to start noticing and observing. And I think that's a good place to start. And for right now, that's enough. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video, that you got some meaning out of it, and I'll see you in the next video.